What's up, gamers? It's Papa Jumpluff here. We're here with Doomphd, RPG, HIJK, and we're gonna go over the Starback Ho-Oh deck profile today on the channel. So take it away.
All right, we're gonna start with the industry standard here. 4 Cleffa, just very standard. That free retreat, the hand recharge, it's just hard to beat, hard to, I've played less than 4 in some decks, but not in this one. The deck's namesake, Ho-Oh. It is a huge nuke, especially if you can manage to get a bunch of different types of basic energy on it. I've managed to get a 90 damage attack off with it, so loaded up with the whole rainbow of every kind of basic energy. And that is the deck's namesake. It is like, in a perfect world, what you're going to be attacking with, but most of the time you're going to be attacking with Starback Starmie. That second attack, Starback, 40 damage for a DCE and a psychic energy, and you get to pull any basic energy from the discard pile and load it onto another Pokemon, load them onto Ho-Oh. So you got really good damage output, while also ramping up on what should be your main attacker in a perfect world. Notable, it's also super effective damage against Aquapolis Espeon, so one-hit knockout for that. It also does have another coin flip attack at the front, which can be relevant at some times. 10 damage times the number of energy attached to both Pokemon on a coin flip. You're going to be attacking with the second attack most of the time. Chose this Staryu because it has high hit points and 2 decent attacks. That 50 HP for a basic, super necessary to avoid donks. And Confuse Ray, Confusion is very powerful. Also, it's 1 pip for its first attack, is colorless. So in a deck with lots of different basic energy types, that helps a lot. We teched these in today. We're going to see how they work. A pair of Pichu. Thanks for the suggestion from Gandalf. Just tagged to the bench. It'll help against Mime. It'll help against Aerodactyl. The deck is not very ability heavy, so Pichu's attack targeting everything on the bench of both players with abilities. Not super relevant in this deck, aside from this card, Moonlight Clefable. Clefable's attack is basically irrelevant, almost never used, but you can return a card to your deck in exchange for pulling any basic energy out of your deck. So you can have a little bit more to attach to Ho-Oh if there's no energy in your hand. Make sure you can get those 2 attaches per turn, 1 from the hand and 1 from the bin with Starback. But if you're using Pichu a lot, just don't drop it down. Keep it in the hand. And we have these 2 Clefairy. I really like the 1 pip guaranteed sleep. I've evolved Cleffas to Clefairies when I'm low on bench space. I feel like that line is an easy tech in most decks. With this Clefable specifically for decks that require a bunch of different types of energy. And then 1 Iggly buff. Turn off Aerodactyl, turn off Vending Mime, turn off Dark Vileplume. Just another baby, another free retreater. I feel like that's a pretty easy include. As far as trainers go, we've got the mandatory 1 copy of Town V. Just Pokemon recovery. You really don't want to use it too much in this deck for basic energy. You really want to, get your Staryus and Starmies back, get your Ho-Ohs back in a pinch. We got 2 Pokemon Fan Club. We want to get as many basics out as possible early game because we really need that Starmie to start powering up Ho-Oh. I feel like 2 is a good number. Then we're rocking Juggler. Juggler is a huge draw capacity. Drawing 5 cards to put 2 energy in the bin is just excellent. I've used it in a couple decks. I really like it. It synergizes very well with Starback, getting the energy in the bin to power up the Ho-Oh at the same time as giving me a huge amount of hand refresh. And then we're going to go all in on being able to choose what energy to play and when we want to play it. Anytime you have a basic energy in hand, you can trade it for a basic energy in your discard pile. For tools, we've just run in 2 pair of gold berries, increase the longevity on your Ho-Oh, possibly on the Starmie, but really they're for the Ho-Oh with the 90 HP. That's the right number to put it onto. Got some pretty standard trainers for the rest of the package. A pair of oaks for hand refill. A pair of traders to get the evolutions we need. A pair of computer search. Pitch some cards that we don't need to get cards that we do in a pinch. An item finder, which I just teched in today. I haven't been convinced on how incredible of a card it was in the past, but I have seen it used to great effect recently. I just still hope I don't get it in any of my opening hands. Then we've got 4 Gust of Wind. I think probably the most powerful trainer card in the format. Controls your opponent's board state, lines up knockouts, gets rid of babies if you're trying to eke any, it just has a whole lot of applications. And then 1 scoop up for a full refresh on a Ho-Oh, or to get anything off the bench, clear up space. If Ho-Oh's got 60 damage on it and you have another one going on the bench, pull that right back to your hand. All the energy goes to the bin, but Starback Starmie will just bring it all back out.
I do like this, that you can kind of like, fearlessly use Pichu for a few turns with the Clefable out and then just scoop it up.
Absolutely. Yeah, and you could scoop up the Pichu, you could scoop up the Clefable.
Yeah.
And then also pretty standard for WotC, we've got 4 double colorless energy. Retreats aren't free in this deck, so 2 warp helps. That was before I teched in 3 additional babies, so we'll see if I still need those. Starmie being the main attacker, we've got 6 copies of Psychic Energy. I think that has been right. I've never really been hurting for it. And then we're doing 2 fire, 2 water, 2 grass, 1 fighting, 1 electric. 2 fighting, 2 electric were certainly considered. If I decide to take out the warp, that's where they'll go. But as of now, this feels good. I've always been able to find energy when I've played it to add to Ho-Oh. Very rarely do I have 2 of the same type on it. And that's pretty much the deck. Just you're attacking with this to load this up so that when Starmie inevitably gets knocked out, your Ho-Oh's ready to go.
All right. Awesome. Thanks for sharing.
Thank
and
you.
We'll catch you next time.